Hey all, I have a series of questions asked to me by a viewer regarding sinew-backed bows. And I'm going to just, for security reasons, because I'm so nervous making videos, just kidding. I just really like this bow, so I'm going to hang on to it. I'm going to put it at my feet and grab this. There was a question regarding an Osage orange bow, recurved, that lifted splinter or something lifted on the back. So Eric went ahead and sinew backed it, and if I remember correctly, one full layer side to side, two full layers second full layer side to side, then a third narrow one to hump it. Excellent, excellent. That should actually, eliminate the problem of the back, because you have decent layerage of sinew on your bow. So all should be good, unless you're going for some monstrous draw weight, but within the realm of possibility that should work out well. Question number one, and not necessarily in order asked, was Eric wants to put rattlesnake skin over the sinew, and so he was wondering about smoothing it by sanding it. I'll get to that, but first I want to say that if you want to take a sinew-backed bow and put snake skin on it, first of all, it doesn't have to be glass smooth. I'll get to that. But your friend, when you're sinew backing, if you want to put snake skin on the back, it does help to have a certain level of smoothness. This is your friend. Gauze is your friend. I tend to, because you have inside curves, if you have a setback handle or recurves, whatever, you have to support it while it's drying, or else when it shrinks it'll pull up. You have to wrap it. And I don't go to putting the sinew wraps on right away. They will have sinew wraps over those inside curves, because your layer will shrink, and if you wrap it with sinew right away, it's going to pull away, it's not going to bond well. So I use gauze. Now gauze will allow you, and it's simply you sinew back it, you're done, wait an hour or so to let tackiness go away, or doesn't even take that long, and then wrap it. This has seen a lot of bows, sinew back bows. This roll right here of gauze, just plain old dollar store gauze, has seen a lot of rawhide back bows. It's seen a lot of sinew back bows. It doesn't stick to the hide glue, but I would, just in order of operations, you wrap it. And if you don't have a good wrapping technique, when I wrap, I'm putting pressure all the way around so I don't take that sinew or that rawhide and slip it side by side. If your technique isn't practiced, put on, and I'm doing it very lightly, a wrapping. And let's say that this is the second wrapping, because I'm going to do it twice. I'm going to do it a moderate pull to keep it from sliding sideways, harder than this. Then I'm going to take it, after I get it wrapped with the first layer of gauze, mostly with sinew, and I'm going to and you can do this, you can stick it on your legs, on your back, because it's got gauze over it, even gorilla wrap it. It's going to compress the sinew, and it will also allow you to take a drinking glass, just a glass, and roll it to smooth it out. And after this dries for a while, a few days, I'll leave it on for a few days, you're going to find that sinew has shrunk down, it's compressed, and it's smooth. You don't need to sand it, it's a smooth surface right away. And that smoothness would translate to putting rattlesnake skin on. Okay, let's get into this now. He wondered about sanding. Just intuitively, you know that if you just put your sinew on, you carefully brickworked it, which just means overlapping everything, and you start sanding it, you're going to start sanding through some of the layers. Yes, you are going to remove some fibers, you're going to violate some fibers, but generally speaking, if you don't go crazy, you don't have to sand much to get it to the smoothness needed to put rattlesnake skin on. Let's say that you're conservative, strength over the visual appearance of absolute mirror-like smoothness. you want to keep it on the rough side because it's going to be stronger than if you remove a lot of fibers off that. The rattlesnake skin will, because those furrows are visible, they're not incredibly deep unless you get like the Grand Canyon going down to the wood, which hopefully you didn't, but even so. When you put the rattlesnake skin on, you can push it with your hands, and it seems to, when it dries and shrinks, go into those furrows for various reasons. So you can put a rattlesnake hide over a surface that is not perfectly smooth, and it still works out well. You could go as far as you put the rattlesnake in, you didn't sand it smooth, you got the little furrows from the sinew backing, wrap it with gauze, and then wrap it again. And so that first layer of gauze will push it down into the furrows. Then it'll look all right. It doesn't need to be like the perfect smoothness of rawhide to be visually pleasing and to add protection, weather protection to your sinew. Give you camouflage. You don't need to. I would, if you're going to sand it, if you didn't wrap it to get it smooth without sanding, I would be conservative with my sanding and not go for a glass-like finish. Now, in years past, I have had, and I don't do it so much because I wrap it now, but if you already have your sinew-backed bow and you've got some furrowing, you can just go back with little bundles of sinew, because you're thinking these as fillers, really. If they don't bond incredibly well to dried sinew because you've dried it to the point where it's getting reflex, you can take little random fibers of sinew and then push them into the furrows just to add as filler for the backing of the snake skin. Now if you add sinew, fresh sinew work onto a surface that's been drying for a while, you need to treat that as like a fresh wooden bat. You need to size it again. And I would start out in this. I've got my sinew-backed bow. I want to smooth it without doing a lot of sanding for rattlesnake. I'm going to take it and just put water on it. Just wash it with warm water. You know, start getting that tackiness on the surface back. It's not going to soak all the way through and cause you to have to cure it again for months and months. It's just going to start giving a little tackiness. After it starts getting a little tacky because you added some moisture to the back, it's not going to take much. Then you can put a little more hide glue in there, just, you know, thin mixture, whatever, get it ready. And then just take your little fibers, dip them, and then push them in there. If they curl up again, if you don't wrap it, I would wrap it again. I would actually wrap it with strips of plastic garbage bags so they don't dry quickly. You want it to dry, but you don't want it to dry before it has a chance to melt. It's kind of a weird term. Melt into the surface of that already sinewed back. So if you wrap it with plastic and let it sit for a day, it's going to stay a little wet and it's going to bond better. Then you can go and just let it dry and sand it if you want. But you can use sinew for plugging those little furrows. Next up, and this is tricky. I've done this once, only once, but it worked. The question was, it's got a recurve, and suppose that the sinew does something to it, torques the bow a little bit, and pretty soon you're looking at it and this recurve goes off to the left and this one goes off to the right. It usually propeller twists. Oh my goodness, what do? Can I heat that bow enough so I can get that twist out without ruining the sinew? You can. I have done it. You want to, before you hit it with the heat, somehow clamp it with Jorgensen clamps or something like that. Rig up a system so you're getting that twist out of it beforehand. And you can do that. You know, you got a long bow, you can twist it, get a little bit torsion. And then what I did is I made, I think it was out of aluminum, thin aluminum or galvanized, thin metal. I clipped it to make a screen. And so I had the wooden back, and it's already in the clamping system to twist it. Or I suppose you can heat it and then twist it, but I was able, it was an elm bow, I was able to like give it some torsion and twist it beyond a little bit. Twist it a little beyond what it needs to be fixed to get that propeller twist out. laid my screen over the bow, and picture a rectangle cut out. The width of the limb, it'd be kind of hard on this because it's a paddle bow and it's got, but I had that screen, and it didn't go all the way to the edge because I didn't want that heat to go around through that hole and hit the sinew. And so I've got this heated surface, and then the heat will carry through the wood, blocked off just like this, and then I was able to hit it with a heat gun enough to, I felt it loosen, and then boom, it went back, and then I let it cool and it was fine. But you need the shield. You need to shield that sinew from direct heat, or it could do something to it, I don't know what. But that worked for me, shielding it. Strip of tin, cut out a rectangular shape, and move it along the length of the bow. And that is that. You can do it. Now, tillering. If this is the first time you've tillered a sinew-backed bow, sinew will stretch a little bit, it'll respond, it'll relax, it'll get tight when it dries, and it's a weird kind of a living thing. And so when you are tillering that bow, because you stated that you tillered it to the point where something let loose on the back and then you stopped, and then you sinew back it. Very smart, good use of resources. Be extremely patient when you're tillering it, because you might get to the point where the wood is right, but then the sinew does something, one side relaxes a little bit more than the other, and then suddenly you're in a position where you're going to get a bow lighter than you want. And so that is definitely the case of, it's my version of tillering. And then stop, just stop. Take a deep breath, don't go beyond. People have this tendency to, like, I did it too much, so I'm going to do it more. You know, I'm guilty of that too. Just be extremely patient when you're tillering this bow because of the sinew on the back. I generally will tiller the bow and then sinew back it, but you couldn't do that. And so definitely patience, be super patient. Be more patient tillering that bow than it was when it was just wood, because the sinew can do different things on different sides. Chances are you didn't do it 100% symmetrical. I mean, there's going to be a little variance in there, so just be careful in that. What else? Time-wise, the bow is starting to go into reflex. The sinew has cured to the point, probably not finished curing yet, but cured to the point where stuff is happening. I would wait another month. You know, it's one of those cases where I think it's good now. Patience. I'm going to put it away and forget about it for a while. Because the sinew will continue doing stuff for a long period of time, and the longer you wait, the better off you're going to be. Definitely, if you've got a power layer on here, 2 full side to side, and a third one down the middle, it's definitely a power layer. And so you can't treat it like just a protective layer that has just a thin layer that you can see the wood through there, and it doesn't really matter, you know, if you fully cure it for 6 months. And that is that. Hopefully I answered your questions. Oh my. Paddle bow. I did this last night. I had it sitting around here, and I received the rawhide from Mike Yancey, Pine Hollow Longbows. Now I'll say that good prices at Pine Hollow Longbows, but what I really like about it is, although I could go to eBay or someplace else and buy stuff, maybe saving a few pennies here and there, I like knowing that when I buy something from Mike Yancey, it's going to be good. It's going to be beautiful. It's going to suit my purposes to a T. There's no questioning of it. Whether I buy rawhide from him, whether I buy leg tendons, because he doesn't sell me those little poorly cut off things that are too short or skinny or stuff. He does me right. And staves. You know, there's something weird about staves. You can buy a stave. Osage orange. I bought so much OO from Mike in the past. And I also bought it from Ellie Enterprises on eBay, which he does a really good job. I'm not going to speak ill of Ellie Enterprises. If you want to buy Osage, it's a good place to buy it from. But I will say I always buy it from Mike because, You know, there was one case where I actually bought this stave of Osage for $120. It was long and it was clean. I wanted it perfectly clean because what I did, I was able to get 6 English style longbows out of one piece of wood that I bought from Mike for 120 bucks because it was wide and it was thick and it was perfectly straight. It was beautiful. And I scraped it down to the heartwood, and I was able to cut it into 3, and then cut it thickness wise, and then scrape down into the underlayers and get 3 more bows out of it. In English style, you know, there's not a lot of wood there, but that just gives you an idea. You call Mike. I'm praising Mike here. He's always done me well. I bought a box of 100 tendons one time, and I paid way less than I thought I should have. I'm just saying that you buy from Mike, you get good stuff. He's a good guy. He's ethical. That is all. Right, Mittens? That's the south end of a northbound cat. Have a good one, and thank you for watching.